Saying the sweet mother of Jefferson Davis is saying the sweet mother of someone very horrible.
And it's so funny that we went live mid explanation of
Oh,
that.
good. Yeah.
It was
I don't
beautiful.
support Jefferson Davis or his mother, but I say sweet mother of Jefferson Davis because I'm sure she had some good aspects. She just raised a person that raised or led the Confederacy. Anyways.
Yeah, so this all came about. We were just having a little FaceTime, and we were like, let's hop on a stream. Why not?
It's way funner.
YOLO, right?
Yes.
But so we were talking about some stuff, and we were talking about. So I just recently jumped on board with a company called Switching Addiction, and it's about switching from bad addictions to good addictions. And right now we kind of focus on the bad addictions. And my wife is blowing me up right now. Uh, right now the bad addictions that we kind of focus on are like alcoholism and soon coming Coke Zero, and also like food addiction. Like we have these fun. Actually, I can show everybody a little peek behind the curtain. So I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. Entire screen share. Chrome has lost permission. So this is great streaming. You go ahead and
good experience.
Vamp for me for a quick second. So
Vamp? Sure.
Vamp.
I don't know what that means, but check out this great product. It's Xevia energy drink. It's used stevia instead of sugar. I just got it because my sister-in-law, who's very into CrossFit, happened to leave like a 6-pack at my in-laws, and I stole the entire thing. Actually, I found out that I kind of like it. Look at that. Zero everything, but it tastes okay, and it's not sugar. And it's not like those artificial sweeteners. It's stevia, so it's like a natural sweet. So
no, that's actually really good stuff.
Not sponsored.
But I'm not going to be able to share it with the world because I would have to close Chrome and then open it back up.
That's okay. You don't want to share it with the world yet anyways.
Yeah, but
it's kind of on the lowdown.
Yeah, it's on the lowdown. You can only get the shirts right now from me or my cohort, also named Justin, ironically enough. It's really funny. Everywhere we go, people are like, are you guys brothers? Like everywhere we go, it's hilarious. And I just tell people, no, I'm the before, he's the after. Because he's a personal trainer. He's much more in shape than I am.
I like it.
But I mean, in all honesty, that's something I wanted to talk about. So 2 years ago when we kind of started having my wife might be dying because I've gotten 3 texts in the last 3 minutes, but no phone calls. So if there's a phone call, then I'll look at it.
Oh,
okay. She doesn't watch this, so it's okay.
Okay, good. No one does.
Exactly. But like 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes. I really started taking things seriously. That's actually how I got in touch with Justin. He was a strength and conditioning coach for a professional fighter that I knew. And I had noticed that the sunset in his backyard was very similar to the sunset in my backyard. And so I reached out one day and was like, hey man, I like the stuff that you're doing. Cause he's always promoting his personal training and whatnot. And I was like, hey, let's set up a session. And turns out that he was about a mile away from my house. Not even a mile, I don't think. So that's kind of how we became.
That's what you mean by sunset. I thought that was some type of
no.
I'm like, am I not catching? Okay.
Very literal. We had the exact same sunset.
Okay, I get it.
We were drinking about the sunset on our lives. No, not really. He's been sober at that point. Okay. But yeah, so I started taking my health really seriously, started getting in the gym a lot more. And I've gotten to the point where I've surpassed my collegiate strength. I am now bench pressing 305 pounds.
That's a lot of freaking weight, man.
It's a big deal for me.
That's a lot of weight to bench press. I don't care, man. That's a lot. That's good. Good for you, man.
And I'm this close to being able to bench press more than what I weigh, which has never happened in my lifetime.
That's insane. Because 300 pounds is a big deal anyway. So good job, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I haven't bench pressed since long, Marine Corps. Marine Corps was the last time I bench pressed, which is like over 7 years ago. So yeah, yeah. So good on you, man. Yeah, I think the idea of the switching addiction is a cool like just branding idea, and so yeah, I think that will be a cool way to kind of just. I mean, because like the idea of like switching addictions is like works for everything, not just food, but just regular activity. Because everyone's
Mhm.
activity, we were talking about this, like everyone's activity, we get in a rut, we get addicted to a certain way of behavior, a certain way of thinking, and so it can be able to brand like that. So yeah, man, I think it would be cool.
Yeah, I mean that's
Pretty
what
freaking
really
cool.
drove me to want to be part of the business because I mean obviously I like the guy, but I'm not going to want to work with anybody that I like. Like that's
Yeah,
a recipe for disaster. But there is such opportunity. I
yeah,
mean, it started with just a beer bottle being broken by a barbell. That's what the initial logo was, and then we branched it out into a barbell breaking cookies, donuts, tacos, gummy bears. So like all
why
these.
tacos?
What's that?
I was like, why tacos?
And you know what? That's actually a lot of the pushback that we got. So the taco is discontinued.
I was like, you work out to get the tacos. You don't want to give up tacos. That's a hard sell for me.
I mean, it's so funny though because like it's funny how the people that you surround yourself with, like it kind of forms not who you are but how you act.
Hmm.
And so his whole thing is switch and addiction. He's sober, all this good stuff. And I the other week I had a friend have a birthday. He was out of town, and unfortunately, he is a good friend who always listens and watches things that I put out into the world. So he's about to get some news right here. But he was in Hawaii, and a group of friends wanted to do a shot with him for his birthday, and me and Mindy did the shots of water. Because like the whole alcohol thing is really kind of fallen out of favor with us because it's just like we're at a point where it's like, what's the point, man? I'm not trying to feel like crap for at least one day, maybe two after one good night of drinking. No, thank you. And so we were lifting the other day, and I was like, are you proud of yourself that your BS sober attitude is rubbed off on me? And we had a good laugh about that. But it's true. It's like the type of people you surround yourself with, it informs the way that you kind of project yourself out into the world.
Yeah, and I think it kind of sets you up for like attracting the right stuff around you too. Like if you're around a bunch of people that it's like that law of attraction or whatever, the secret or whatever. If you surround yourself with people that are constantly trying to do better and constantly trying to improve themselves, you're going to get that by osmosis pretty much. Like even if you don't want to do better, you're not going to feel good about yourself just sitting around eating Cheetos like sometimes I find myself. But like you'll want to get up and go do to it. I like that. It's funny, like I've actually been a lot of my friends have been getting away from alcohol in general. Like not so much that they're like giving up all recreational activities because a lot of them are moving over to marijuana, which is I think is actually a way healthier alternative to alcohol, but that's just me. But it actually is I mean, if you look at just the health things of alcohol, that I don't know why it's been as accepted and legal as long as it has been. Like
That's
we
one thing I think about all the time when I think of all the negatives that, especially after the last two draconian years, like we have something that kills way more people through drunk driving, actual alcohol overdoses, actual alcohol poisoning, all these things, and killed countless people over the years. And nothing's gone on with that. Now, I'm not saying that we should ban it because we saw what
yeah.
happened when we
No,
tried to
no, no.
ban it.
Shouldn't ban it. But
But
culturally, can we start shifting our focus of what's like culturally, can we say, hey, you know what? It's not like we don't have to embrace alcohol in our culture as much as we do. Like it's cool if you want to drink, enjoy a drink, you know what I mean? But like health wise, like overall, like why are we pushing it? Like I come from the Marine Corps, and Marine Corps was all like that's all the culture is drinking alcohol, which is odd being a Mormon in the Marine Corps. But it's very much culture of drinking, and that's actually a big, huge problem in the Marine Corps is underage drinking, Marines getting into problems, all the social problems of drinking is something that the Marine Corps constantly deals with. And so it's like, maybe move away from that in your culture.
Yeah, because you end up with all these people with these issues that they're trying to self-diagnose, and not self-diagnose, but
self-medicate with
alcohol when all you need is a little bit of MDMA. Which, I mean, I talk trash on a lot of liberal policies, but decriminalizing and even legalizing mushrooms and MDMA, the stuff that has been happening, that's one thing. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, God knows I have a million bad things to say about our commander in chief. But there was one thing that came out about there was some trials that he personally pushed through that were directly related to MDMA and psilocybin, and I believe there was one other thing. Those of you that want to learn more about these things that were like have been kept from us for such a long time through legality issues and whatnot. Up on my bookshelf, I actually have a great book, and it's also a Netflix documentary series called How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. Really informative stuff. It really talks about the brain changes that can be had through those compounds, whether it's MDMA, psilocybin. I mean, I think in the book, he probably talks about almost anything that's psychoactive, and it kind of like goes into the science of it. Michael Pollan is former New York Times writer, really popular in like the food. I think he was a food journalist for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And he jumped in, did the book, and then the series on Netflix actually came out earlier this year. And I had a conversation with these people that were like 75 years old from Texas. So I'm really excited that these drugs, or as I know it sounds like hokey when you say it, but these medicines are getting the published, not the published, but the publicity that they're getting now, in addition to the additional medical trials that they're being able to do and whatnot. And I'm realizing that I am having trouble putting together sentences. So I'm going to have some Alpha Brain Instant for memory and focus.
I didn't know they made little, like, it's like a 5-hour energy shot of Alpha Brain.
Yeah, it's
dude, awesome. I like the pills. I need to actually order another thing of it. It really does help, because like sometimes when I'm foggy and I'm sitting through meetings, that stuff really does help.
Yeah, that stuff's amazing. That's another thing. We're gonna eventually be doing supplement. Like, this is big picture. Like,
yeah.
Stuff.
Well, it makes sense for that brand to go that way.
Yeah. And I am 100%, even if I'm the only person who buys it and takes it, we will have a nootropic guaranteed, because I have the only thing that I can point to that says that these nootropics do something. So specifically, I'm talking about Alpha Brain. Is there was a time, this is probably at this point, probably like 10 years. No, it wasn't 10 years ago, because I was married at the time, and I'm actually about to hit my 10 years of marriage in 2 weeks from tomorrow. 2 weeks from tomorrow
is crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. But so it was within the last 10 years. I want to say maybe 7, maybe 6. I bought my first batch of Alpha Brain, and I really gave it the try. And what I noticed was I was using it with video games, and there was a direct change in how I performed on it versus how I performed off of it. And obviously there's a lot of variables when it comes to video games. You got your network speed, you have who you're playing against, you have all these different things. But I had a base level of my kill death ratio sitting at like a solid 1 regularly, which means that I'm killing somebody and I'm getting killed just as much. And what I was able to do is, when I was taking the Alpha Brain, my kill to death ratio not only went up, but I went from being middle of the pack on my team to being usually close to the top 2 on the team, as well as I had my kill to death ratio was usually in like the 3.5 range. So that means I was killing people 3 to 3.5 times more to every one time I was being killed. So
it sounds like a silly like recommendation. However, if you've noticed that, that's a legit difference. Like your quickness,
and it could be placebo. But here's what I say about placebo: if it's placebo and you're getting the same desired results, who cares?
Honestly, and so this is kind of a funny stretch, but I look at that same way. I know this is a stretch of the topic. The idea of like, if your placebo works and it's getting good results and it's doing something positive for you, first off, who cares? Would you want that to change? No, it's giving you the results you want. Then, okay, if you see your friend using something that's a placebo and they're getting good results out of it and they're improving their lives and you know that they have a placebo, would you call your friend out on it?
I personally have had that, like I've seen like those types of things happen. I don't say anything.
Same
why am I going to take away from something that is making them feel better, perform better?
It's taken me a while to get there, but because sometimes the jackass in me wants to be like, actually, that's not how it works. Actually, you're not actually taking what you think you're doing, and it messes them up. I've done that growing up. Like I've been the asshole that's like pointed out the placebo.
I was that.
Yeah.
For these shots that came out from a couple of companies, Moderna I think made one, Pfizer made one. So there was things that I said about those that were placebo-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but yeah. I think there was a little bit of placebo there.
Or you know what? I like the placebo effect of how bad things could have been if they didn't have it. If that makes sense.
Say that one more time.
So, like, for example, I remember reading this article about this person that might have had a certain medication and then they died from a certain disease anyways. Mm-hmm. And then the article said they had the medication to prevent said disease, and it could have been much worse if they didn't have the medication to prevent disease. If you know what I'm saying, talking in code.
I know what you're saying.
They were vaccinated. And then the article
don't say that. Don't say that. What? No. This video is going to get taken down.
They were, and the newspaper said, imagine it could have been so much worse if they weren't, because they died.
What's worse than death? I mean,
that's what I was trying to understand.
There are things worse than death. Like I think that,
like living
being
through
forced to be raped until you die, like for a long period of time. Like if somebody was like, okay, here's the deal. And I just got us kicked off YouTube just by saying that.
You did.
Sorry,
you said the R word.
I said the R word, but
why are we not allowed to say words anymore? That's another question I'm confused about.
That is
because people say
doesn't matter anymore.
SA instead of the actual word. They say R instead of the actual word now on social media. Is that like a problem to actually say
SA?
Sexual assault.
Oh.
They say now SA on social media. It's like, is there some algorithm now that checks for the actual word?
This goes back to when I was a child. I thought that the idea. So we go back to the fact that I like to say that I was raised Mormon because I'm not practicing anymore. Mm-hmm. I always thought the bad words thing was weird because every time that you stub your toe and you say, "Oh darn it," you're saying the same thing.
It means the same thing because you're saying it in anger or anguish. Or if I called you a prune head, and I really wanted to call you an effing idiot, but I called you a prune head. Technically, prune head means effing idiot for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's I always had that hang up with language.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
With the very conservative upbringing that I had, like I never understood it. Like I was like,
I think
I'm saying gosh darn it. Why am I saying gosh darn it if I'm not really trying to say god damn it?
Yeah, I think. So I think there's two ways of thinking about it. One is to make you more palatable to more people. So we all have to deal with lots of people. So we have to learn in a way to communicate that allows us to communicate with the greatest group of people without insulting. Now, for the longest time, we had very strict rules on what we should and should not say. Those are swear words. You shouldn't say that in society. You shouldn't call someone that insult. And that's where that. But over time, those words mean less and less and less of an insult of what they actually used to mean, I guess. And now it's kind of like opened up where now you kind of just say what you want.
Do we though? I mean, we just talked about how we're self-censoring.
Yeah, it's true. Well, our group is still self-censoring us, but it's like It's a weird self-censoring. It's not so much that the word, it's the idea of what the word implements that we want to avoid. The idea of it, not the actual word and what it means, but the idea of the word that we want to avoid. So to avoid the idea, we actually now avoid the words. It's like he who cannot be named. It's like saying that all the time. Although we think about it more because we're trying not to specifically talk about it. I don't know.
Wait, real fast. Was he who not be named?
Harry Potter reference.
Oh, I thought it was a Trump reference.
Oh,
I'm
that could be a
Trump
Trump
loop
reference
on
too.
social media. I don't even know if you're allowed to say his name anymore. But I mean, that's the only way that news organizations make money. So I assume that it's still an okay word to say.
I'm out of the news. I'm out of the loop on social media and news. Like you might think less of me because some people do. I don't vote anymore. I decided to make the effort that I'm not voting ever again. I'm not doing it. I'd made the decision. I just don't care about the election. It's to me, I'm already to the point where I feel like it's such a BS game. I just don't want to get worked up over crap that's just all politics is marketing and segmenting markets to get people upset, to get them to act in a certain way so that they can get their name checked in a box so that they can forget about you for 4 years until they can get you to market you, to get you out of your seat, to get you to check their little box again. So that's why I don't care anymore. I don't vote. I don't vote. I'm not, if you want to vote, you can vote. I don't care. I don't do it. I'm not political anymore.
I think that me voting where I live is very pointless. I'm not by any means like a super hard Republican. I'm actually probably more liberal than I am not. But I also believe in liberty, and I live in a place that doesn't a whole lot.
I'm very much like libertarians get like a bunch, like a bad rap just because you think of libertarians being all radical and right. But that whole social do whatever the freak you want. Be responsible for yourself as much as you can. But if you need help, the community should we should help each other. But get a federal government out, get a big government out of other people's way about just how to basically live, but have a social, I'm all about that, but I just can't get behind politicians and politics and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, when anything gets too big, it just becomes too much bullshit. That's what it comes down to. We've gotten too big. Like I even look at it. I watch this show and I love this show. It's a great show. It's on Discovery. And it's called Alaska: The Last Frontier, and it's all about these people who live on a homestead in Alaska, and like what they do to kind of prepare for winter and whatnot. And it really boils everything down to survival. And the more that I thought about it, the more that I kind of realized that I have, at a certain point, I have a different view on society than the masses. And there's this belief that the ends justify the means in everything, and so for them it's the ends of killing animals. And I'm not against killing animals. I think that we have to get to a point that we understand that we have been the ones to evolve and to grow and to have all these things. But it's really kind of messed up when you see it at like its most fundamental level, where it is, I, a creature on this planet, am worth more than you, a creature on this planet. And obviously a lot of that does stem from like the religious dogma and things like that really kind of ingrain that in people. And so I understand where it comes from. And I don't necessarily disagree with it because I do enjoy many modern civilities, if we will, such as AC, which we're going to talk about in a minute because there's a very fun thing to talk about: air conditioning, especially going on right here in Colorado, right this very moment, of why it's so damn hot in my house right now. But it's something that I kind of do struggle with on a daily basis of like, why do I think, because I don't believe in the Judeo-Christian idea of God personally. I go back and forth with ideas of what could be beyond. Is it, is it multiple gods? Is it a code? Like, are we all just strings of code? I mean, when I get really high and think about it, sometimes I think, because we have proof that time is not happening like this. It is not happening on a line. There's very much evidence that proves that it's very circular and it can be folded onto itself. Black holes and different things have kind of demonstrated that to how time passes differently on different planets, things like that. It's all very fascinating to me. And it's so fascinating that sometimes I forget what my point is when I start talking about it. But okay, that's right. My crazy idea. So my crazy idea is everybody says that everybody's connected and all this stuff. And I go deep into the cannabis realm sometimes, and I just wonder, are we all the same organism just living through different points in time?
Dude, I feel like we might have had the same trip session together, because I had the same exact experience. Like, I was like I had this same kind of understanding as even if you look at, we both come from Judeo-Christian value backgrounds and upbringings, this idea and this thing that Christianity puts up is treat others the way you want to be treated. And this idea of no one's greater than anybody else. Everyone's basically brother and sister. Everyone's basically equal. And and even in Judeo-Christian values, I think that one of the main concepts that I get from Judeo-Christian values is it's taking physical world attributes and putting a spiritual or eternal twist on it. So, for example, big thing in Judeo-Christian is resurrection. Everyone's getting resurrection. That's a big thing. We're going to be the same bodies we have, but forever in eternity. Is a lot of people believe that in Christianity. Well, that's just because that's the only thing we know right now. It's the only thing we care about right now. And we have our individualism, and we care about what we have, and we want what we have, and we want it perfect, and we want it absolutely perfect in everything forever. What if we don't want that forever, kind of a thing? And so you're saying of this idea of we're all the same and we come from the same. Something that's a common thread in near-death experiences is this idea of the destruction or death of the ego and the collective coming together with oneness or love.
Also
ayahuasca, DMT, yes, experiences this death of the ego, this collective nature, this feeling of all oneness and everything like that. So I think there definitely is something there. And I feel like, I'm not a huge religious scholar, but a lot of the stuff I like, I'm interested in religion because it's interesting how people have conceptualized the eternal here on the physical. So, but a lot of the same, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, you get people who talk about things like Rogan has talked ad nauseum about John Marco Allegro, who wrote the book titled "The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross."
Yeah,
which was a guy who was very high in the Catholic Church, left the church, wrote this book about how Christianity was really just boiled down from paganism, including fertility rituals and things like that. And how it just seems like there's too many possibilities for any one person, let alone any sect, to be right.
Yeah, and I look at it, one of my big aha moments for me as a growing up was studying marketing. And one thing, and after starting a business and kind of learning the process of starting things and getting traction with clients, is your clients will tell you what they like about the product you offer. A lot of the times when religions start, they harp on specific things that clients like. Like if you're worried about your family, they're going to talk more specifically about family issues. Mormon church, families can be together forever. That's kind of a selling point for that type of stuff. And so maybe that church will focus on that thing. I kind of feel like all of it's all of it's basically trying to describe something that's very difficult to describe to non-high, non-people that haven't had an experience beyond self. And so they find little niches to market on. And so that's why you have all these different sects basically tying into the exact same thing, which is that spirituality thing. So I've gone to this holistic kind of like hippie type view, like everything has a little bit of goodness in it. Everyone just needs to be chill with each other and kind of explore and not be too harsh on each other, because we're all idiots and we're all trying to feel it around. And the problem that we have is with any organization or any organized religion is people will get into a group and they say, no, we know the best. And that's just silly.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I mean, you talking about how you kind of become a hippie, and I mean, I feel the same way. I've literally become what I used to make fun of,
yeah,
just
totally.
ad nauseum.
Yeah. I mean, I'm moving up to do like farming and do like hippie living, no organic granola, raising animals and all that. So I'm going super hippie.
I mean, and that'll kind of take us into our next topic that I wanted to talk about. Do you know about hashtag van life?
Oh yeah, the kind of trend to sell everything, get in a van and move around.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, have you heard of people outfitting box trucks to do hashtag van life?
I haven't seen anyone do it, but I've heard of people taking like a U-Haul, right? Like a
Yeah, like a
U-Haul type.
U-Haul style, like just big
Yeah.
box truck.
Yeah.
So I didn't
That's
know
kinda
that was
cool.
a thing. People are doing that, and so I showed Mindy a video, and she's been wanting to go off grid for a long time.
Oh shoot.
And so the big thing, I wanted to do a van. I wanted to do a van. I am very minimalistic, like in nature. I don't need a lot to be happy. I was like, let's sell everything and go into a van. She was like, hell no, I'm not going into a van. Then I showed her a 20+ foot box truck, and she goes, oh, okay.
I could do this.
Because she was like pushing for an RV, and I'm like, I don't think you know how expensive RVs are. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous just to get an RV that you can live in 24/7. You're looking at like on the small side, which would be barely bigger than a Sprinter van. You'd be looking at like 150,000.
Yeah.
And it's insane. But like with these box trucks, man, you can do a lot. The cool thing about them is that you just have a blank canvas, and you don't have to go to a place that does vans. You can go get your cabinets done by a carpenter. You can go get your plumbing done by a plumber. You can get your electrical setup done by an electrician. You can do all these things, space it out, and it'll cost a fraction of what you were if you were doing the same thing to like a Sprinter van.
Dude,
And
if
so
I
I guess all of this really comes down to, this is my public way of saying, once we buy our truck, we are going to park it on your farm, and we'll be living with you guys for probably 6 months a year here, 6 months a year, 5 years later, something like that.
well, I mean, there's definitely parking spots on that property for it. And I mean, I totally like that now as the as we're watching lifestyles change like in real time, like we're watching America start to shift to a migratory community, and there's a group of young millennials and Gen Z's and all that can't afford anything, and so they're forced to have to live out of cars and travel around, and they're making it a choice by putting a hashtag to it. I think there's going to be a lot of a lot of opportunities for that. But if you're looking to go off grid, there is some property up near, not too far from where I'm at. So it might be nice to have a little property where you can set base and then just travel around outside of that.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, I've seen a lot of what the U.S. has to offer, but it's been like passing through and things like
Yeah,
that. I've driven coast to coast. I don't know how many times.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's an exciting prospect for me. So
yeah. And who knows how this switch and addiction thing's going. You can keep that going, and then you can start consulting other people on their
well,
brands. And
that's what it really came down to, is like, because when we first started talking, you really got me pumped up about carpet cleaning. I hit some snags when I started doing that, and it was definitely nothing I couldn't overcome with a little bit of elbow grease. But the more that I thought about it, the more I was like, why am I going to build something that I'm always going to have to be a part of?
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like there's a better way to do it. And the internet makes it's not a better way, but a different way.
Yeah.
And the internet really opens up the community from the very local area that I was looking at to make a business before. I can now take it and just go after, have that same community, but it's just bigger. It's just a bigger pool.
So I have an idea, and maybe we can talk about this a little offline, but we can do this now. So as you know, I'm quite the TikToker. I have quite the TikTok following now, and with my aquaponics stuff. If you're looking
are you the leading aquaponics?
No, definitely not leading aquaponics. I'm the leading dude in the backyard goofing off, goofy white guy aquaponics dude. That's the leader I am.
I mean, so, is there any other kind of colored guys doing aquaponics?
There's some brothers doing aquaponics, and they're definitely doing it better than me. Like they have a legit setups, and I'm learning a lot from them. In fact, that's what I mostly do is I share what other people do.
I guess that's my racial bias. I just assume that it's a boring white dude thing. No
you
offense.
Would think it mainly is. Funny thing about aquaponics, the origins come from South America with the Aztecs about 10,000 BC. When they worked in Mexico City, that shallow lake, they made, I'm going to screw it up. I can't think of the word, but anyways, they're like little artificial islands in the lake. And they would just have all these fish run around these channelways, and they would just have water right there. And so the ground would be very moist and ready for it. So it's like a form of aquaponics. Years later, we're still do it, but now we do it in a different type of process. So kind of the first version of aquaponics. Anyways, so it's not originally white guys. We just stole it from some other culture and just repurposed it and called it a different name. So
I believe there's a word for that.
It is.
Or I guess it's a saying, a phrase.
Is it appropriate? It's not cultural appropriation, is it? There's
another term. It would be cultural appropriation. You literally said, "No, we didn't invent it. This other culture did, and then we took it and just now."
Yeah, I guess that would be. There's another term when you steal a technology, rename it, and you just claim it as yours. It's not appropriation because you're not even. You just
rename.
You're not even giving credit for it. I forget the name, but yeah, I'm not doing that. But,
which I think cultural appropriation is a good thing. I will go on record saying that I feel like it's the greatest form of flattery.
And who the hell wants to go through and make your own mistakes all the time? Like, wouldn't you want to copy someone else's right answers?
Yeah, like we don't want to just like start apartheid over here. We want to be like, oh, apartheid sucked over there. We shouldn't do that.
I mean, why not allow other countries to try slavery that hasn't tried? In fact, every country's tried slavery, but you know what I mean? Like, try all of our worst stuff that we've done because they haven't tried it yet. So maybe they should try it. No, it's stupid. Anyways, but yeah, so aquaponics. So I have like 20,000 followers, and I thought, hey, you know what would be kind of interesting is what's funny about aquaponics is it's such a niche gardening type that people love talking about it. And so I've been like, I wonder if I could put a t-shirt together that's like aquaponics related, that says like, ask me about my ponics or something like that, or some type of branding around where it gets people to talk about it and then you're able to sell it. I'm talking to Justin. Yeah, I'm on a call with him. Anyways, sorry, my wife's looking at me from the thing. Anyways, but that's where I'm like, hey, maybe I'll think about that and I'll get it back to you. And then we just streamline it and just sell t-shirts together.
Well, I mean, I got the supply chain for it, so
because the growing market right now is people learning about gardening and self-sustaining. I don't know if you've realized the growing trend on social media sites, but it's people learning how to like make Great Depression style food and how to grow stuff in their backyard. People are trying to figure
trend.
Out. Yeah, the growing trend. Oh, that could be the t-shirt. Join the growing trend.
I like it. And then just like have like a plant sprouting.
Yeah, plant sprouting, and it has like a little fish. The logo could have like a little fish, a plant, and a marijuana leaf.
There we go. There we go.
Anyways.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll sell t-shirts. Because I want to try to like, so we're moving up, starting a little farm thing, right? unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of money to start a farm. So what I'm going to try to do is social media and try to get people to sponsor these stuff I'm going to need to start a farm.
Okay.
So I have
So
20,000 followers, not a
you
lot of
have
followers,
20,000 followers that
but I
are on
can
one
beef it up.
platform. They're on one platform.
TikTok.
What is
TikTok,
what is your plan to get them on multiple platforms?
So I'm started on Instagram, because Instagram's another good platform for those DIY type stuff and those kind of like gardening, housewife type, like little tips and tricks and all that. So I'm going to start building it up on there too, because I think that's a good long-term sustain. TikTok, you can raise your following really high, but followers on TikTok, I've noticed, are kind of wishy-washy. They're not really like hardcore followers. They're just passive followers. But
I
like
think TikTok
Instagram,
has
I
a
feel is
bigger bot problem than any other social media site.
probably does.
Like I when I hear about these people that will like just explode overnight, I'm like, that can't be organic. It can't be.
I will say that there are certain times when your stuff gets pushed and you do get seen by a lot more people. So you have the opportunity to go crazy real fast. But
do you have a notepad in front of you?
What?
You have a notepad in front of you?
I sure do.
Okay, so get everything everywhere. First off, everything that you put on Instagram should be on TikTok. Everything you put on TikTok should be on Facebook. Everything you put on Facebook should be on Friendster. No, I'm just kidding. Not Friendster. I don't even know if Friendster exists anymore. But get it everywhere, and then always at the end of your short content, point to your long form content. Your long form content lives on YouTube. You can build a solid follow. If you get 1,000 people and 10% of those 1,000 people think you're worth $10 a month, and if that or what is it, 10% of them think you're worth $10 a month, that's 100 people giving you $10. That's $1,000. You got 40% that are giving you $5. Then you got another $2,000 right there. And that's how you can really focus on, if you're looking at this as a growth market, to kind of get your followers, your people who are really about this, to be a part of it. That's how you make that happen. Then you take it one step further. You start a Patreon, or you could be really crazy with it. Start an OnlyFans. Just be the only farmer on OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh.
Only farms.
Farmers.
Oh shit. That has to be taken.
Only farms.
It has to be taken. But if it's not, you need to start that account right now. And literally like play with it. Make it a joke. Make it like everything sounds dirty, but it's not. It's all about like this wholesome content and whatnot. And that's something that we're gonna have a shirt pretty soon that says only sober, and it's gonna be in the same font and everything. And like it I think that OnlyFans has such a huge opportunity to be the next like Patreon. Patreon was huge for people with podcasts like 5 years ago. And I feel like OnlyFans took what they had and was like, yeah, you can do that, but you can also do porn here. And then they got so much money from that because people love porn. And that there is something to be taken away from the way that the OnlyFans girls did what they did, because they didn't make it about this is my content, this is what I'm doing, and that's it. They formed a community.
They made you like the girl, not the image as much. You know what I mean? They made you fall in love with the personality first, which is hilarious, because it's like you're having they're producing a relationship with their clients.
Yeah, it's essentially like a large scale version of the girlfriend
have love.
But it's like a large scaled up version of the girlfriend experience.
Yeah, a virtual girlfriend basically.
Is what this is I don't remember where I read it. You guys can Google it. But of all the money made in sex work, I think it was something like 68% of it is all girlfriend experience related. when I say girlfriend experience, it's somebody to talk to,
Someone that, yeah,
somebody to have
that
have
cares
listen.
about you.
Yeah,
It's
somebody that
really
cares about you.
sad.
So it is really sad, but it's also really cool in the sense of this platform became a thing because of porn, but it can become bigger than porn.
Mhm.
I've been behind the OnlyFans thing for a long time. I think that the more creators that get on it and can really switch that stigma, switching stigmas, switching.
Switching stickers, switching.
I'm trying to like on the fly make a new T-shirt, but if you can switch that stigma, um, because as we get as OnlyFans became so prevalent, it took away the stigma a little bit in the sense of, your neighbor was doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like it really kind of opened that up, and that is kind of what allowed regular people to put their foot in the door. I mean, they've obviously been trying to say from
Sometimes
day
their foot,
one.
sometimes other parts of their body.
I mean, the people from OnlyFans have been trying to say that they've had more than just porn on their site, but I bet that the amount of money brought in is pennies in comparison.
I
But
was like, while you were talking about that though, like I think you're actually right. Like I was thinking, like there's sometimes, so people have been paying for more type of content that people make, like with Patreon and stuff like that. And a lot of the times it's like, it's almost like you're paying for contact with almost a friend because you're getting to interact with them a bit.
yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
like
I got
you're
one guy.
paying.
There's one guy. His name's Christian Harloff. He
Mhm.
runs a YouTube channel where they kind of talk about like geek stuff and like movies, that kind of stuff. And it started out where I would comment on the videos, and then he started commenting back, and I was like, oh, well, that's cool. And then like got to a point where every time I commented, like I would be the one to get a response. So now he built this rapport with me. He then one day he goes, okay, so I lost my job for Skybound Entertainment. I'm going full-time YouTube. This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to offer. We're gonna have a Patreon, and these are the tiers that we're gonna have. What do you think about these tiers? If you pay $1, you get XYZ. If you pay $2, you get ABC. If you pay $3, and he really broke it down, and he pieced it out. It was like, what do the people who are taking this content in right now for free, what do you think about this? Is it worth it? How can I make it better? And let's see what happens. And so he takes the feedback, goes live on September 2nd, I think. I sign up for a $10 tier, and I now feel like invested in his success.
Yeah, whatever he's doing. Yeah.
And that can be replicated by anybody. You just have to put in the work of creating that community. I mean, just spitballing. I would do something like, say you have a Patreon, say you have well, what I actually like about OnlyFans is they also have on-demand things that you can pay for separately, and so you could set up like a one-time payment of 500 gets people into a raffle for the 5-day summer camp at your farm. Obviously send your kids and wife away during that week, but like you could literally do something like that. You could do something, you could really go, especially with the farming aspect, especially with the growing trend, so to speak.
Now that you're talking about it, I think I could probably try to right now start building up something and then put together like a Patreon or even like an OnlyFans, because I think it'd almost be funny having the aquaponics dude try to get you to sign up for his OnlyFans. It'd be curious enough where I'd almost want to just see it just to see what it is. You know what I mean?
I
So
would even say, I would even go as far to say have a Patreon and an OnlyFans so that you can
just
still
for
have
attention.
the joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then I could make like a bunch of funny pictures of like me in overalls and being like with the thing over me.
Yeah,
Like that for the
exactly.
overalls, whatever. But like, and that way, and just make it an approach to the actual followers I have. Be like, hey, we're doing a tier thing where you monthly thing. I'm going to make content about how I'm starting my farm. I'm going to share everything about this and making fence. What type of animals am I choosing? All that type of stuff. You guys are going to help me get it started. And so they feel invested.
I would make a video right now. Like when you're done with this call, because I think I only get an hour on this. So I think it's about to end in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
When this call ends, I would do a video of how you came to buy the location that you bought. I wouldn't put any personal information out there, but I would talk about what you were looking for, what made that a good spot for you, everything like that, and then make a video about that, and then make a call to action at the end of the video. Join this YouTube channel to join me on this adventure of going from living in the suburbs for the last 10 years, probably more, because you guys kind of lived in the suburbs, everywhere
Marine Corps,
else.
all that type of stuff. So I can play on all that crap, like military family, small family life, healthy living,
like your religiously raised family.
Yeah,
like
we're
all
trying
that,
to traditional type values and all that, and the kids working hard and all that type of crap. So
because people
it's the story that they want to follow.
Exactly. I mean, it goes back to me watching that show about people working on their homestead in Alaska.
Yeah.
Who's to say you can't do the same thing in Arizona? They are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just by doing what they already do. There's no reason that you can't be that too.
Yeah. I like
it. That is why I'm announcing here on this stream that nobody is watching. I'm offering my services as a brand grower. I just made that word up. As a brand, I don't know how would you say that?
Brand ambassador, not ambassador.
Not ambassador.
Brand coach,
brand advisor. There we go. Marketing and brand advisor.
A brand necromancer.
I'm not going to be
bringing brands back from the dead. I don't know.
New Coke, I'm coming for you.
Whoa.
Gonna raise New Coke. No, but in all honesty, if this could be what I do for the rest of my life, just like telling people what they need to do, because it's all right there. If I didn't, I mean, I have no excuse why I don't do it. I don't have any. But the moral of the story,
say it is easier to tell people what to do.
I know, but that's the beauty, is that as a brand consultant, Jesus, it was right there. As a brand consultant, you can make a lot of money. Marketing consultant, the amount of money that I saw people just flush down the toilet with these like marketing consultants and whatnot, it's insane. I could seriously just start a YouTube channel and just start giving this stuff out for free.
I've seen what corporations do. I've been on projects where they hired expensive consultants to tell them what we told them.
It's really like the whole big business thing. I really find gross.
It's so great working for a large multinational corporation and just sitting as just a small cog in this giant machine and just watching it just roll and gain profit. And I'm a little tiny piece of it. That's what I do all day. Actually, I really like the people I work with. So,
that's fine. That's fine. It's like that. I mean, that I think at the bottom line, like the people that aren't working for the money are working for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because liking the people that you work with it's a key. It's a key to success.
It's either the people you work with or the work you're doing.
Yeah.
And then if you're only there for the money, that's miserable. I've learned that's miserable. I've been at jobs where I'm only there for the money, and even if you're getting a lot of it, it's not worth it.
No, you gotta have like
something.
It's either got to be something that's like juicing you from the inside of like you just I just love doing this, or having the folks in the foxhole next to you. You know what I mean? That is how you get people to work their butt off for you. That's why I think corporations are really pushing for people back in house, not in house, but out of house, getting them back in the office.
Oh yeah,
it's because when you
have
everybody on an island
connection.
Exactly. When you have everybody on an island, nobody's getting connected to the people, nobody's wanting to make sure that they do their job right so they don't screw over Bill down the hall.
Yeah.
That's how you get people to really care about their work, is that they're caring about the people that they're working with.
Impacted by the work they're working on. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah, the beauty of leaving all the corporate life. Anyways, man, I think this is a good spot to call an end of our little conversation. Because first off, we're coming up on time, and then my kids are coming home from school, so I have to go yell at them.
Oh, we didn't even get to talk about AC. I wanted to talk about
well,
that.
We're 55
we got 5
minutes right now.
So,
AC.
Everybody, do yourself a favor. Do not get an internet-connected thermostat. They will entice you with all the cash back on your power bill in the world, but when you're going through an energy crisis, they will cut off your damn AC. I now cannot put my house lower than 71 degrees, which in the upstairs, it's more like 90 right now.
That's crazy. I can't believe that.
It was a big news story 2 weeks ago. 20,000 people in the Denver area were affected. I was one of them. And they basically, on governor's orders, locked us out of control of our thermostats. So it's not worth saving I mean, granted, I've saved probably, just off of the money that they've given me back, probably $300 since I bought the thermostat. And the thermostat cost me $150, I think. So I've made $150 off of it. But it's not worth the autonomy to be able to control your dang thermostat.
Dude, it's all that fine print in the user's agreement.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, you agree to have us control your house.
Yeah. Now you can get them, and you can choose to not connect them to your power grid, not your power grid, but yeah, your Wi-Fi, which then gives them that control. Actually, I think they might have gotten it from, because this is an all new thing. I think it's actually through the smart meters. Now I think about it, so there's no way to really get around it once you have a smart thermostat, probably. Which, it's more like an authoritarian meter, if you will.
Another thing I'm gonna try is when I get up there, I'm gonna try to go off grid as much as I can. So off grid water, I'm having a well dug. So yeah, I'm not gonna do this whole like smart grid stuff. 2020 taught me one thing, is that you can't depend on any system.
Just make sure you have there's two things you need to have. No matter what you have for your power generation, whether it's water, solar, wind, whatever you're doing, you need batteries.
Yeah.
And you need diesel. Always have diesel on hand. Always have a generator just in case things go down.
Have a gas or whatever generator to back it up.
When I'm saying batteries, I don't mean AA's. I mean get yourself like a Tesla style battery. Like maybe not Tesla, dude. Well, as I said it, I was like, somebody that isn't.
Someone's gonna be like,
brain.
All right. They're like,
I listened to Justin. I got $10,000 of AA, AAA, and C's.
He's got that, and then he's bought like a bunch of diesel gas. He's like, all right, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. But yeah. All right. Well, this is a fun chat. We actually did have somebody pop in for a little while. That's weird. They were probably turned off by the video. And we'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later, man.